It is my intention now that to announce that school will not resume in the sense that students are going to be going to school, going to the school building. Education will continue. The school year continues.
Good afternoon, I'm Sheba Turk, and that was Governor John Bel Edwards speaking yesterday. Today, we're expecting the governor to announce that all public schools will be officially closed for the rest of the year. So we'll bring you his live press conference right here on Channel 4 at 2:30 this afternoon. You may also hear more from the governor about the statewide stay-at-home order. At least one lawmaker is calling for it to be lifted at the end of the month.
We're going to face a point in the near future where we're going to lose a lot more people's livelihoods than we know.
Most public health experts are saying, though, that if things reopen too soon, COVID-19 cases will spike all over again. And new at noon, the latest coronavirus case numbers for Louisiana has just come in, and there is an alarming rise in deaths. There are now 21,518 cases, which is about 500 more cases than yesterday. And also 1,013 deaths are being reported. It's the biggest jump we've seen since the outbreak began. Right now, just under 2,000 people are in the hospital. 436 of those are on ventilators, which is a fall from yesterday's number. But again, we did see a rise in deaths. Yesterday, we had about 880 deaths. So we'll have more information on that throughout the day. Part of what makes this virus so bad is the extreme need for medical supplies, which is why many states have asked for federal help. Now we know just how much help Louisiana has received. The federal government has sent more than 480,000 gloves and more than 800,000 masks, including N95 masks, surgical masks, and face shields. They also sent coveralls, surgical gowns, and medical station boots. The state has received more than 670,000 gloves and more than 500,000 masks from donations from LSU, Apple, and state agencies. And this just shows how everyone is coming together to battle this virus. LSU has started large-scale production of personal protective equipment inside the campus's basketball arena. LSU tweeted these pictures of some of the beginning work. The supplies will go to medical professionals all across the state. As of last week, 216,000 people had filed for unemployment in Louisiana. Many of those people are trying to figure out where they'll get their next meal. Today, the Salvation Army of New Orleans partnered with the Midwest Food Bank to give away 1,000 boxes of non-perishable goods and hygiene products. And there were very long lines to collect those boxes. Also, volunteers with Connect Church in Algiers gave out thousands of boxes of food. Cars were wrapped around the building waiting to pick up some. Meals were given out from Second Harvest Food Bank and World Kitchen, and more than 5,000 sandwiches were given from an anonymous donor. There's another giveaway tomorrow at the Goodwill at Tulane and Broad. That's from 9 until 12. And a reminder, you won't be able to shop at one Walmart on the West Bank today. It is closed for a deep cleaning. A Walmart representative says the cleaning at the Algiers store on Berman Place is being done just out of an abundance of caution. Today's closing will push the store's senior shopping hour to tomorrow at 6 in the morning. Everyone else can return to shop tomorrow at 7 in the morning. And here's a look at coronavirus numbers globally, where we're nearing nearly 2 million cases. There are also more than 122,000 deaths. Here in the United States, we're seeing more than 590,000 cases and nearly 25,000 deaths. Natalie Brand brings us more on the national response.
President Trump is meeting this morning with people who have recovered from the coronavirus.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Monday, the president vigorously defended his response to the pandemic, even playing a campaign-style video during a contentious press briefing.
When you excuse me, you reported it. 0 cases, 0 deaths on January 17th.
February, the entire
January, I said in January.
Your video has a complete gap.
On January 30th.
What did your administration do in February with the time that your travel ban botched?
A lot.
What?
A lot.
And the president asked Dr. Anthony Fauci to clarify comments about whether delaying social distancing measures costs lives.
The first and only time that I went in and said we should do mitigation strongly, the response was yes, we'll do it.
The president is expected to name a new coronavirus council today. The team will be tasked with advising the president on reopening the economy and country, a decision the president says is his.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Total. The authority is total.
It's total. It's total. And the governors know that.
But many state and local leaders set the restrictions in the first place and say the Constitution gives them the power to lift them.
The president's position is just absurd. It's not the law. It's not the Constitution. We don't have a king. We have a president.
President Trump tweeted a response saying Cuomo's been calling daily, even hourly, begging for everything, and now he seems to want independence. That won't happen. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
All right, and now taking a look at the stock market. We are up this morning, which is a welcome change from this time yesterday. The Dow is up 470 points. It comes as the White House and a number of governors consider how to gradually reopen the economy. And we do want to let you know some global numbers for recoveries. There are more than 460,000 people who have recovered from the virus. And many of you have been asking why we are only reporting the new coronavirus cases and deaths here in Louisiana, but not the number of people who have recovered locally. Well, it's because there's really no way of recording that right now. The state says it's much more difficult to track that number because most people recover at home. In fact, the vast majority of people recover without ever needing to be hospitalized. Others will spend some time in the hospital, but then they're sent home to finish recovering there. So for now, we do not know the exact number of recoveries in Louisiana, but we do know that most people who get infected are getting better. Former President Barack Obama has endorsed his former VP. In a video, the former president says that Joe Biden has all the qualities we need in a president right now. The development comes a day after Senator Bernie Sanders threw his support behind Biden. CBS's political reporter Ed O'Keefe has more from Washington.
Bernie Sanders' endorsement of Joe Biden is a big step towards party unity, and consider this, it comes 3 months earlier than the endorsement that Bernie Sanders gave Hillary Clinton back in 2016.
I am asking all Americans, I'm asking every Democrat, I'm asking every independent, I'm asking a lot of Republicans to come together in this campaign to support your candidacy, which I endorse.
I'm going to need you, not just to win the campaign, but to govern.
Candidates say that they will be forming joint task forces to discuss issues like immigration, health care, climate change, all designed to bring the party together. Of course, younger, more liberal voters still very skeptical, wary of the Democratic establishment and Joe Biden. So Sanders' full-throated, explicit endorsement is designed to bring his loyal supporters under the Biden umbrella. The former vice president last night easily won the Badger State, Wisconsin's primary. Remember, it was held last week, but results weren't counted until this week to allow absentee ballots to trickle in through the mail in this era of the pandemic. Also notable that in Wisconsin last night, there was an election for a state Supreme Court race. This is part of the reason Republicans actually wanted to hold the primary last week. Well, the conservative judge on the ballot lost to a liberal challenger, a big blow for the GOP. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Washington.
And we just heard some time ago that elections here in Louisiana may be delayed again due to the coronavirus. Our partners at the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate are saying that the Secretary of State is asking that they now be delayed until July 11th for the primary, while the general election will be held later on.